Hey friends, welcome back to the What's Update. My name's Elijah. Here's my review, Alien Covenant, new Aliens movie. So, a lot of people are going to tell you, it's not great. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, but I am predisposed to liking sci-fi. I really love space. I don't like horror movies, actually. But that's kind of the thing. This movie wasn't really a horror movie. It was pretty much an action film. There were very few horror-y parts, and some of the horror stuff that they tried to, I don't want to say shoehorn, but the horror type stuff that they just threw in there, kind of weak, a little weak, meh, whatever kind of feeling here. But let's get into my notes here. I'll give you guys a score. I'll tell you some things I was in and out of. But this is a full spoiler review for all of Aliens Covenants. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this. Spoilers coming your way. You've been warned. Okay, let's do this. All right. So it's a mad interesting movie, but it's not great. It's good. It's not great. That's just the fact. It definitely suffers from midichlorian levels of story stuff. So that's always the trouble with these kind of films. When you're giving the origin or the history, you're going back. You're trying to explain what we've seen or what happens or what is the future of a franchise or the past of a franchise as its future. It's always tough. And it's the midichlorian problem. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, why did you explain this? Why did you show me? Why did you tell me? I don't like what you said. Because it's not what I imagined or as cool as what I could have imagined. So that's always going to be a problem with these. But ultimately me, I like space. I like sci-fi. And I really like Michael Fassbender. And Michael Fassbender's two people in the movie. Dual roles as my dude Walter and David back from the original Prometheus. Walter, fantastic. I am Walter. Like his mannerism, like the way he's just like, hello, Captain. Like the way he talked, Fassbender. Good choices. Maybe it was in the direction or in the... But I loved it. I loved what you did as Walter. It was solid stuff. Very different from David, and it ultimately makes the turns that happen in the movie more impactful and powerful. Ridley, good job. You showed me pretty things. I like the way you direct. I don't know if I'm going to hold as much of the story faults on you as the writers. But Aliens is your thing, and you did stop my guy Blomkamp from making one, so, because you're like, Aliens is my thing. I got to make the movie. Like, I get it, man. But, it's a pretty weak story in general. Pretty weak actually, but I still liked it, which is weird. Even though, and the group that I saw it with, they're just like, meh, whatevs on the alien stuff. No, I think actually a lot of the people were out on the movie. In fact, but I was really rooting for Walter pretty much the whole movie. This cast is definitely a hey, I know that guy all stars. And I don't know any of their real names. But it's like, oh, I've seen that person in something. Like the dude from The Bridge, the Hispanic guy, I was like, oh, hey, I love this guy. He's cool. The interesting thing with this movie is that they don't really give anyone enough screen time for you to care about them. Not even the main female lead. And I think a lot of that comes down to Fassbender playing dual roles. So he's getting a lot of scenes for you to care about Fassbender A and Fassbender B. The Guy Pearce scene at the beginning is really, really, really cool. I loved all of that. The movie just started there. I was like, oh shit, this is dope. And there's just so much in this movie that are just cool sci-fi things that are just make me happy and that I'm there to love. But there's so many weak story elements or like set pieces that I'm just like, that is the wackest. Why is that in this film? So I don't know if I blame Ridley or the writer who let this happen. But like, there are great parts of this movie, but the parts don't equal the sum. It's not reaching that goodness. It's not reaching that goodness as a whole. It can't Voltron into something better, unfortunately. The lead, Catherine Waterston. She's badass enough. She fills that Ripley-esque role. It was weird seeing her with her hair that short. That actress I've seen before. She kind of transformed in the role. She was someone very different. But I remember when this movie was announced, they said James Franco was going to be in it. I was very excited. And I think this movie could have used more James Franco. You've seen it, hopefully. So he dies very early in the movie. He's actually only like in one scene, basically. And it's not even, he's in the live scene. It's like a video thing. And I was like, oh, this movie, like if Franco wasn't, this movie could have really used Franco. His levity, his joy, I don't know what happened, like why he wasn't a bigger part of the flick and he was just like in a photo, maybe it's like a commitment conflicts or something like that, and he was supposed to be in it, but maybe the negotiations went wrong, but they already announced him, so they just like slapped him in. I don't know, but I just think that the movie could have really used him. Telling the backstory is it's just it's just hard. It's hard work, so I don't envy them, but there's some certain scenes, and I have notes here just that I'm just like, man, I really like that scene, but ultimately, like, I just know the movie. Like, I don't feel good about recommending the movie to anyone, like, spending money to see it. Like, just, I can't be like, you should go to the theater and watch this. I don't know if I can say that, especially if you like aliens. I think it's going to make you even madder. I think if you're just a sci-fi or space or horror fan, you'll probably be okay with it. Less so horror. But if you're actually someone who likes aliens and, like, really loves the Cameron work and the franchise, I think this movie's actually just going to make you, like, more Prometheus type feels. I think you'll just be like, nah, why this? Explain away. And a lot of that has to do, I think, with the David stuff, with him being the one rogue robot of Wayland Industries, of the creator, the one that has a little bit more sentience and freedom, being the reason that humanity or that an entire race or species goes down. I just don't think that. I mean, it's a good reason. And just Fassbender's David character being the crux point of, like, why all the alien movies happen, that's just kind of a little preposterous. I think we all had hoped that they came from just a planet, they evolved differently, but it's all man, did this man maketh himself this moral dilemma. Like, I don't know, it's just a little strange. The movie could have definitely used more Danny McBride. He was one of the best characters in the movie, and seeing him in the trailers, I thought he was going to get a lot more shine in the film. But he's in it enough, but he's just not really in it. He's not really in any of the action set pieces. He's up in space. I really loved their spaceship design. That was cool. I loved the little sails that came out to power it. I liked the flute scene a lot. That was a really interesting look into David, and you could see that he was going to start losing his crap. David's lab, interesting, but I think a lot of people are just going to be really out on the Metachlorians' explanation of David engineering the aliens to be what they are now, creating the eggs, creating all that stuff. Me personally, as a child, I had many nightmares about the face-hugging spider monsters, so I chose to look away during that scene because I did not want to have nightmares. Call me a sissy, call me a wussy, call me a coward, I do not care. I had way too many nightmares as a kid. Well, also, I shouldn't have watched that movie as young as I did. Who let me do that? But I had nightmares about the face-hugging spiders, like, forever, and I went to Universal, and, like, they put me on the Punisher Alien, like, Universal ride thing, and I cried. Like, I was crying because of the alien stuff in the Punisher. Like, I was sitting there crying, and they felt bad, and they should have felt bad. My cousins in California are terrible people. Just saying. Facts only. I got too personal there for a second. So the horror situations in this movie were kind of weak, like I said. The scene with the captain and David revealing that he was the one who did everything, and this facehugger scene, like, I just would have never gone down there. It's like, hey, come with me to this secret lab all by yourself. I would have never done that shit ever, especially after David had this, like, emotional exchange with one of the aliens and be like, you beautiful baby, I love you. He's like, no, you shot it. He's like, to come with me, I'll explain everything. You don't trust that fool. Why would you do that? Stupid choices on your part. Just the stupidest choices ever. But that's fine. That's life. Scene with the little white aliens scares me because the little white aliens were scary and creepy, and some people were trying to tell me they're cute, and I'm like, no, those are not cute. They're murderous monsters. And they, like, came out of the back of the person instead of, like, the front. Just no, thank you. And the fact that it's like this like moving mattery thing that can just, like, go and incept you and just, like, get inside you. That's some scary stuff too. That's a scary virus. And the fact that David just, like, murdered that entire species with their killy virus thing, that's scary too. Someone was telling me that, like, that's what those guys were doing, though, that they were, like, harvesting planets, so I guess it's okay. But they created humans. Like, there's just so much weird stuff that's mixed into it that I'm like, not for me. Not for me. But David stays wrecking dudes and stays wrecking fools. Just everyone getting murdered by aliens. There's some cool kills in here, but, like, the thing with the fountain, that chick is super quick. Like, that was not scary. Like, they didn't do a good job of adding the scares. Like, especially the shower scene. That was pretty weak and quick. They didn't do a good enough job, I think, of, like, spacing out the horror and, like, really building the tension. It was just like, oh, hey, it's there, and dead. Like, it was just, like, a lot of quick kills. They didn't have a lot of the build-up of the horror, I think. The fate of Elizabeth Shaw, super depressing, super sad, broke my heart. The fact that David just experimented on her, kind of lame. Kind of just, I mean, like, not lame, like, from a story perspective, but just, like, I'm just like, dude, why would you do that? Come on, David, you're supposed to be cool with her. You're a whack-ass busta. Makes me sad. So I'm looking at my notes here, and I want to like this movie more than I did, but everything that I keep saying, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was not good, that was not great, like that was okay. There's a scene where they're trying to escape the planet, and it's just a really preposterous set piece, and I just kind of felt like we need another set piece, so let's just throw this in. It's like this like flat ship, and it's like wobbling, and the aliens like crawling around it, and just all of that scene just seemed like I wish there was a cooler escape scene than it being tied to CG in a spaceship. It's kind of whack for me on my end. And the couples, I think that's another like a weak story crutch that this movie has, that they're trying to tie the emotional weight of everything that a lot of the people there were couples, and that's not really even addressed in the movie. It's only addressed in the trailers that they're on this colonization mission and everyone's couples because they're going to go repopulate or populate. So like it's everyone's in pairs, like husbands, wives, like they're all couples, and I think that's just a way to add emotional weight to it that wasn't really there. They're just like, oh, this person who loved this person died, or this person that loved this person died, like this person's wife or boyfriend or girlfriend. They had just pretty much couples that were the crew, and that was just kind of like a gimmick to make you care. Like, oh, his wife died, oh, his brother died, his loved one died. That's just kind of flimsy for me. I didn't expect the movie to be so closely tied to Prometheus, because it's like directly tied to Prometheus, the same planet, same stuff. I thought they'd run into David maybe in space, or that he'd be on a new planet. I just didn't think that they'd go to the Prometheus planet. So it's all tied into all the Prometheus stuff, 100%, 100. And David as the bad guy was really obvious. It was pretty much telegraphed the whole time. The David and Walter fight was fun, but it was very clear that Walter was going to lose and that David was going to assume the role of Walter. As soon as he cuts his hair to look like Walter, I was like, oh, well, I think he's going to replace Walter and escape and get to do his evil chicanery out there in the space. It was it's just way too obvious. Like, even when he gets on the ship and he's like, sit down, and he's like giving him the shot thing, like Walter would know to give the guy the shot. Walter wouldn't have that emotional outburst. He would just push the guy down. There's just a lot of the things that were happening there, especially with him watching the monitors, like with glee. You're just like, oh yeah, that's not Walter. That's David. David won, and David winning at the end, it's pretty obvious. And so it's going to lead to more sequels. It's going to lead. I don't know if it's going to just lead to what Aliens becomes, if that's what they're going to say, or if they're going to make another Bridge the Gap movie in between. But origin stories are messy, and I'm going to have to say, as just a person of sci-fi, probably a 6 out of 10. If you're an Aliens fan, you're probably going to give it a 4 or 5 out of 10, I would say. But that's my review there. That's what I think about Aliens Covenant. If you want to go see the movie, go do that. It's all right. I mean, I think there's better movies out there in the cinemas right now. But if you had to choose between King Arthur and Alien Covenant and Guardians, it's definitely Guardians, with probably King Arthur as the second, and then Aliens is the third, I would say. So there's a recommendation for you, some advice, some sage advice from the Eli. This is the What's Update. My name's Elijah. You have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'm out like a Girl Scout. That was a weird